Hi everyone, welcome back to day 4 of our Python tutorial series for beginners. In this session, we are going to discuss couple of things which are going to be very important for your Python programming. So here you can see the list of the items that we are going to discuss today, and this is going to be a very quick video. So let's see what all the things we are going to discuss. First of all, we are going to discuss with the comments. So, what is the use of comment, how to use the comments, and when to use the comments, right? So, those are the things that we are going to discuss right now today. And also, we are going to discuss on indentation. How does it play a role in Python programming, and how it is different from some other programming languages, right? So what is the role of indentation? That is also we are going to discuss in today's video. Also, we are going to discuss multi-lining. If you want to make your code multi-lining, so then what you have to do, right? After that, we also will discuss about the classes and objects in Python, right? So this is the agenda of today's video, guys. So this is a very basic and but don't ignore this part also, because this is going to be very helpful for you in if you are going to become a good programmer. Good, you can know the understand the uh, s- what is the base, you can say, coding practice we should have follow. So those things, if you want to make your improvement, so please follow this video, don't ignore, right? Although I know this is a very basic one, but don't ignore this one. Now let's talk about the comments first, right? So let me talk about the comments. So comments, we all know that Python, when we are writing the code in Python, if we want to make any comment, then we can use the hash key, right? That is everyone we know. Like, let's see, if I am writing a is equal to 10, after that I am writing, um, let's say I'm writing b is equal to 100, right? So if I say, let's say print, and I say a, then is equal to, my Python code will directly go after one line number one, line a is equal to 10, directly it will jump to my next line print statement. It will not read about the b, because I have used the comment expression over here. When you are using hash key at the starting of your line, that line is going to be considered as a comment in your Python program, right? Similarly, this is how you can use the comment, right? Let's say I can say, I can use this line as a, let's say, simple program, right? Simple program, right? So if I comment this my code like this way, then Python will not be bothered about whatever the you have written in uh, as a hash symbol. Whatever the lines you are starting with the hash, so Python will simply ignore those lines. It will not going to be read those lines. So uh, now this is how we use the comments in Python, right? Now the question is how we can, let's say I have a set of lines I have to comment out, right? Or I have a block of code that I need to comment out. Then in that case, what you'll do actually in your IDE tool, you will be selecting all the lines that you want to comment it out, and then you can press on Control and then your forward slash key. Then it will automatically uh, do the comments for all your lines, right? Or you can manually you can add the comments for your lines, right? So all the lines, whatever you will be doing a um, commenting out, those lines will be ignored when you're running your code, correct? Okay. Now there is another approach we can use, like using the doc string. Let's see, I am using single triple quote, and I am saying something. I have writing over here, this is you can see addition program, right? You can see addition programs, right? From in the first line I can say this is addition program. In the second line I can say it accept to int numbers, right? So this is how we can have a multi-line comments, right? And the next line also you can write that it returns the result of two summation of the two numbers, right? This way you can comment your lines. So at till the time this is, although it is created as a string, but although you are not assigning this value to a particular string type of variable, then this is going to be um, created as a comment also. Okay, remember one thing, this is not a uh, this is not a comment, but this is a being a string, but we are not holding this data into a particular string variable. Then Python will simply will not make your code any issue if you are using this approach, right? You are completely free to use dog string triple quote, either it is a single triple quote or double triple quote. That is completely fine. You can use this way to comment out your uh, multiple line of you can say statement, right? So this is how we do use the comments. Now let's talk about why what is the best case to use the comments, right? To best case, we what we can say actually. Uh, okay, just okay. So what we can see uh, that to use the comments in based approach, right? We should have follow some rules, right? So what are the rules that we should have follow that we are going to discuss right now? Okay. So the best practice, I can write it like best practice. So always try to use comments as short as meaningful and updated, right? We can say short, meaningful, and short and meaningful, right? Second one, we can say write a comment to explain why you are doing something, right? Let's say you are doing some sort of block of code, you're writing some block of code, then why you are making or why you are writing that block of code, what is the use of it, right? So you can see explain why the code is written, right? So this will be helpful for you as well, as well as the next person. Let's say tomorrow your code is going to be uh, going to be updated by another person, so that or someone is trying to understand what you are trying to do in your code, so they will be able to understand what is the intention of the code, that why you have written in such a way, right? So you do not have to be worried about those things. So if you are mentioning something, your statement that okay, this is the code, or this is a block of code, or this is the method which is because of this purpose, so we created this one, right? So those are the things, try to note down in your code as a doc string of code. Let's say this is how you can use the doc string in your code. So this will be very nice documentation, and your code will be readable, and your code will be going to be understandable by everything, right? So this is all what we need to understand. So another question is why oh sorry where should we use the coding these comments, right? You can use it for any of the, you can see for your classes and for your methods. What is the purpose of the class that you created? What is the purpose of particular method or function you have created? What is the purpose of particular variables, right? So all these cases you can mention the comment, you can mention the You can use the comments for your classes or methods or variables, right? So these are the area that where you should have used those kind of things, right? Okay, now let's talk about the next part, which is a indentation, right? Okay, I'm going to moving to next slide. I'm saying indentation. So what is indentation? Indentation is like how you are making, how you are presenting your code, Python code to to a people, to a person, or how you are writing, how you are managing your complete file, right? So that is nothing but indentation. Remember guys, in Python, indentation is very important. Okay, in Python, indentation is very important, right? But if I talk about programming language like Java, indentation is not at all a matters, right? So there we are the main concept in Java there, that was you can say curly braces, parentheses, those are the things which is maintaining the code. But here in case if I talk about the Python, here indentation is very important. So you have to be very careful of the indentation. Let's see some of the rules what we have in for indentation, right? So let's see what is the indentation first. Let me show you guys. So if I talk, let's see, I think everyone you have you know already, but still let me show. Let's say I'm writing a code. This is my Python file. Instead of this, I'm writing, let's say age equal to 10. After that, I'm giving some spaces casually, and I'm saying b is equal to 20. You can see there is a gap between a and b, right? So if there is a gap between a and b, that means this gap is there in between a and b. That is called indentation issue, right? If your line a is starting from this particular point, then b should also start from this particular point, right? That this is what indentation is. Now there are some rules we should have follow for indentation, right? Like we have to use four spaces. You can say four spaces um, for indentation, right? For indentation. Again, this is indentation. This is not fixed for all the tools, right? We all earlier we have talked about that there are a lot of Python developer tools. You have PyCharm, we have, right? PyCharm, we have VS Code, right? And also we have Jupyter, right? Jupyter Notebook, and we have Google Colab, right? So we have Spider. So there are a lot of tools. If you are using PyCharm or VS Code, by default you are using the four spaces thing, right? So these tools already by default providing you four spaces. Do not use any tabs here. Okay, I can make it like do not use tab. Okay, do not use tabs. It should be four spaces. Or if you are using, if you are writing your code using PyCharm, then you do not have to worry about those things, because Python PyCharm or VS Code automatically add the indentations for you. But if you are using Jupyter or Colab, then I think the indentation is there two space only. Okay, instead of four space in Jupyter and Colab, the indentation is two spaces. Okay, that is the difference between these two. What makes you the across the whole project, right? You are using the same indentation, right? That is something you have to maintain. So we can write another point that keep, or you can say maintain consistent indentation across your Python file by file, or you can say across your project, correct? So this is something when if you are using, let's say, what does it mean? If you are using four spaces, then maintain the four space across your complete file. Or if you are using two space, then maintain the complete file as a two space only. Correct? Okay. Okay. Now let's talk about the next thing. Next topic, that is what we think. I think multi-lining. Okay. So let me go to another slide, and yeah. So here we'll be talking about the multi-lining, right? So what is multi-lining? Multi-lining means if you are writing your code, let's say the code is going to be very lengthy one, right? Single line statement is going to be very lengthy one. Then in that case, it is always recommended to break the line, right? Let's say you have a very big very the string, you are writing a paragraph. That paragraph is very lengthy, right? So is it okay, you can continue with the same line for the complete lengthy paragraph? No, it is you are you can say it is recommended to break the line, right, into multiple lines. So how can we use the multi-lining statement in Python, right? There is a multiple, you can see multiple ways to do. So we can see ways to multiple way. The first way, if I want to mention, that is use backslash, right? Use backslash. If you are using the backslash, by using backslash also you can do. What I mean? Let's see, I have a string. Um, I'm sorry. I want to store a string type of data into a variable. Let's see, I am saying s is equal to I am starting a string. Let's say within double quote, I am saying Python. In the next line I want to use programming, right? So what we can do, I can use single slash and I can say programming, right? So this way I can use multi-liner code. If you want to add another line, so again you can use single slash and then you can have your data, you can have your text over here. So this is how you can break down one single line into multiple line, and this is called as a multi-lining statement, right? Similar way, instead of single slash you can use the another way, we can use parenthesis also. If you are writing something within your parenthesis, so that is also going to help us. That is also you can say ensuring. Let's say I want to have a something code like um, let's say I'm saying s is equal to within a parenthesis I'm going to add, let's say, a plus b plus, and if I provide slash, and then I say I'm continuing with the some other numbers, right? So this is how we can do. If you use sorry, I do not need here at all. I'm not about talking about the backslash right now. I'm right now on the parenthesis. So if you write this OA also, this is completely fine in Python. Got it? So if you are starting with the parenthesis and closing the parenthesis over here, that means your statement, that line of statement is going to be started from here and it is closing over here. Hope this is clear to you guys. Okay. Now, okay. Now, what is the recommendation or when to break a single line? When to break? Let's say I have a either I am using a text or a lengthy text, or I am writing my code which is going to be very lengthy in a single line. So what is the recommendation Python tell us, right? Python tells us the recommendation is if your line is crossing 80 number of character, right? So if we are crossing it crossing 80 characters, okay, if it is crossing 80 characters, then break the line here. either you are writing a paragraph, or you are writing a particular, you can see line of code, right? A lines of code. If it is crossing 80, then it is recommended to break the line. Clear? There is another approach. We can use the multi-lining code, that is by using triple quote. That is what I have mentioned in the doc string, right? By using triple quote also, either single triple quote or double triple quote, right? So this is how you can use. You can, let's say I want to store data s is equal to, I can say single triple quote, or you can use double triple quote also. And here you can start your writing, let's say Python, I can say program, right? And you can have some other language, you can say language, right? So this is how you can use the doc string. If you are assigning this doc string to a particular string type of variable, then it is going to consider a multi-lining statement, and this string is going to be stored into this particular s variable here. Okay. Now let's talk about the classes and object, the last part of this particular video, right? So in this video, in this particular next couple of minutes, we are going to discuss on the classes and objects, right? So I'll see classes and object. Clear? Now we are not going to discuss in depth of the classes and objects, but the very basic level of knowledge in the classes and object that we should always have with us. Without this, learning the Python is never going to be, you can say, you will be having a lot of doubts there, right? So that's why we should have clear idea of Python classes and objects, right? Now there are two things. When I say classes and objects, what is this classes and what is this objects, right? Now let's say what Python says. Python says every types in Python are classes. What do I mean? What I have said? I have said every types in Python are classes. What just I said? I said that in Python every type every every type in Python is a class. Remember this. This is very very important. You can see line. Every type in Python is class. Every type in the sense, what are the types we have in Python? We know there are a lot of types in Python, right? We have string, we have integer, we have float, we have bool, right? All these types. So we have int, we have float, we have bool, right? Complex also we have, right? We have str, similarly list, tuple, and so on. So all these types in Python are class, right? So how we can say that? If you check, we if you print, let's say type of, I'm saying 10, right? So what is the type of print? 10, it will print, it will integer, right? But if you notice that the print statement, it will print like this way. It will print this way. Int, sorry, it will print, class, then int, isn't it? So the type of 10 is integer, but before of integer it is saying it is a class also, right? So every types in Python are class. So this is what the first point we should have know. Okay, we should know, we should understand this one. Okay, now another thing is that what is the objects, right? If I say a is equal to 10, if I say a is equal to 10, right? If I say a is equal to 10, then what is the object and what is the class, right? So what happen actually when I say a is equal to 10, 10 is my object, right? 10 is my object, that everyone know, everyone understand that one, right? So this is 10. Let's say it has some memory address. So this 10 is a object, as object needs some memory, right? In memory. So in the memory area, objects has some memory. Whenever object has some memory, those memory should have some those objects should have some memory area also. Sorry, memory address also. Let's say this object 10 is having a memory address 1001 or 20, anything this number, right? So this is the memory address for this particular object. Now when I say a is equal to 10, what that does mean? That means a is a reference variable. You can see it is a variable which is pointing to particular data object, that is 10, right? What is the type of object? This is an integer type of object, right? So if I say a is having another existent, this is my a, which is holding the address, this address. So this is nothing but 120. So a is holding, you can say, address of this particular object, right? 10. Now if you print a, it will return you 10. Instead of it is returning the data a is holding. What is a is holding? A holding the address of this particular object. But when we print a do not print as the object, right? A prints, this print statement will take the data which is you can see referred by this object, you can see address, right? So now when we print a, actually we are getting 10, we are not getting the address of a. If you want to check the address of a, you can print it this way. You can print, let's say I want to print the id of a, then you can see it will print you 100120, right? So if you want to print the address of the object 10, then you have to pass the id, you have to use the id. This is a function which will return you the address of this particular object here. So here is a misconcept people have. When I say, let's say a is equal to 10, and they consider that a is a container which is containing 10. That is not true. This is not a, right? I told you this is not a. A is something, a object which is residing into your memory, and that has some address also, right? And that address is pointing by particular variable a. A is pointing this address, means a only and only referencing to this particular data, particular object, right? So now let's say tomorrow I am saying b is equal to a, then what does happen, right? I am actually not passing value of 10 to b. It actually happen, b is another variable there in the memory which is again referring to this particular object. If you check the value, if you check the address of the b, you will again print the same address. So if I say print id of b, it will return me the same data what a has returned, right? So let's see this in example quickly, right? So what I'll do, I'll open Python ideally. In my Python ideally, what I'll do, I'll create a variable called a. So let's say a is equal to 10, right? So if I print or no, that will print value of a is equal to 10, right? Now I want to print the address of a, so I can say print id of a, right? So it is going to return me a address in the memory, right? Whatever it is. Let's see, I'm saying b is equal to 10, right? Next line, I want to print id of b. Okay, can you see both are same? If you see, both the addresses are printing same, but is a and b are same? Definitely no. They are two different things, they are two different variable, but they are holding the same data. That's why we are getting, means they are referring to a same object. That's why their id is also same. There is no difference, the id b is holding and the a is holding, right? Now if you try to print a is equal to b, you see we are getting true. So what do you understand now? And we are able to understand that a and b, they are two different variables which is pointing to the same object, right? I hope this concept is clear to you guys. Now let's say I am changing the value of a. Let's say I am changing the value of a. Instead of 10, I am saying b a is equal to 12. Now what happened? If you try to print id of a, then what happened? You see the id got changed now, right? Now if I say a is equal to b, then you see now we are getting false. They are not the same object, they are not referring to same object, right? But the if I check the id of b, it is still the old one, right? Whatever it was earlier. Sorry, yeah, this one. So this one and this one is the exactly same, but if as we change the a reference, a is now pointing to another object in the memory. So now the address of a is got changed. So that's why the a is equal to b is now giving me a different value. Hope this concept is clear to you guys, right? Okay, with this we'll be ending this video here only, and in our next upcoming videos we'll be continuing with the more can say mathematical operations, or what all are the operators are there, right? So those things we'll be trying to continue, and the next sessions will be it will be very important, guys. So to start, whoever is from the very basic zero level, it will be helpful for you guys, right? So we have already covered this comments, indentation, and multilining. What is the classes and what is the objects? This thing we have covered. Hope you have understood the today's topic. Something you got to know, right? And if you learn something, then I'll be very happy with that, and I will be thinking that okay, creating of this video purpose is I am satisfied with, right? So uh, with this I'm going to wind up this particular video. See you guys in my next video. Thank you. Bye bye.